Nature being Serip main inspiration, and in the context of environmental upheavals and ecological degradation that we have witnessed, this new collection draws our attention to the problems that have harmed our big ecosystem. This collection is a warning and a tribute to the entire world. Miguel Palma is the designer behind the concept of the new Calathea Collection, and we have him here today to walk us through the creative process, to explain to us how the idea first came to him, how it was developed and became a reality. Miguel, what exactly is Calathea?
The Calathea is a native plant of the tropical rainforest, an exotic world full of life and diversity. The Calathea branches out into more than 20 subspecies, and the leaves of each one has different shapes and distinct curvatures that best suit their need for sunlight. Many subspecies in the Calathea family are known as prayer plants because their leaves open and close throughout the day, depending on the sunlight available, in a movement that almost resembles the joining of human palms in a prayer or meditation posture.
So, this natural ability of the plant was important for the design of the piece?
Yes, it was very important. This particular ability almost looks like a dance, and we wanted to transmit this subtle but elegant and delicate movement throughout the different curvatures on each leaf on our sculptures. Like in nature, these curvatures make each of the pieces of the new collection unique, give new movement to the pieces and bring them to life. In this new collection, each leaf is really unique, different from all the others. They reflect the uniqueness and the diversity produced by nature. Each leaf carries its own fingerprint, if you will. It is unrepeatable.
This stands true to all the remaining collections of Serip, as far as I can see, correct?
Yes, it is really impossible to repeat, to the smallest detail, the same chandelier. Even for the standard pieces, because all the production process is completely manual, you know? We have mainly human hands manipulating the materials and creating these lighting pieces.
And how long did it take to reach the final product?
From the initial concept until the materialization of the product, between scanning, modeling, 3D prints, prototyping, the process took roughly 2 years.
It feels a lot of time developing a design, isn't it?
Yes, but it is not a linear process, you know? Like all artistic creations, it has advances and step backs, always in search for the perfect shapes. There is a lot of trial and error to be done, and sometimes it can be really challenging because you have to start from scratch when you realize that the technical solutions you have in hand are not working, or that they are not the most suitable for the design you want to achieve.
How did the idea of reinventing Calathea come to be?
Well, during the first lockdowns back in 2020, all the news showed that nature was recovering on the absence of humans, with a reduction of road traffic. And you could see really in the news that cities have completely stopped, you know? Calathea then came to my mind as a symbol of strength and resilience, but also of delicacy and sophistication, and thus blossomed this idea of creating a collection that would have Calathea as the main protagonist.
So, you mentioned the first lockdowns. How do you believe it have changed the way people design, create, produce these decoration pieces?
In a way, I think that these times and the distance between people has transformed the way we work in a more practical way. Although we seem more distant from each other, I feel that we are actually closer to each other than before, because the interaction is immediate. In terms of developing materials or prototypes with suppliers, there was always the notion that you had to be present in the same room, working side by side to reach different solutions. But now with all the available solutions, you can have like, 4 different meetings in 1 hour, while you share pictures and videos and of all kinds of materials and prototypes. All the companies readapt to these times, and now in a certain way, you don't have to travel anymore all around the world to develop solutions for your creative and production process.
Can you walk us through the creative and the production process? How did you get from the idea to the actual object?
It all began with a few sketches. We wanted, above all, to capture and replicate the movement of the foliage instead of having something flat or static, After having the conceptual part created and knowing what we wanted in terms of shapes, we searched for several leaves that would suit our needs. We then 3D scanned all elements. This was a process that fused the natural pieces and also technology, an alliance that distinguishes Serip, especially when it comes to 3D technology. With a digital copy of those elements, we then scaled them, and all the textures were refined in order to try to highlight textures and imperfections in the branches. We then had to print all those elements in 3D and reproduce them in metal. We also did some molds for the glasses. The final step, it was the most demanding because we had to put all these elements together to create the final prototypes.
Like in all previous collections of Serip, there is sort of alliance between nature, decoration, and art. How is this balance achieved?
In all of Serip creations, the aim is to craft a stylized and often even more realistic representation of nature and all its organic elements. We often say that we look at the development of pieces as if we were making an art sculpture. Only then do we devote our attention to the lighting sources. Our pieces are more than just lamps or works of art. They are a fusion between the artistic, the beautiful, and the utilitarian.
These art pieces that you mentioned are not only lighting sculptures, they have obviously a lot of technical specifications and developments.
Yes, of course. For instance, all the light sources in this collection are LED, as well as all the latest Serip collections. But in this new collection, we have tried to present different shapes, new ways of arranging the compositions, and new technical possibilities. One of the innovations that we tried to make a reality in this collection was the possibility to create more lighting options. We wanted to create 2 distinct circuits that could make it possible to turn both on or off, or to only turn one of them, in order to better suit the needs of the customer. This type of solution works best for luminaires installed above tables, where there is sometimes a need for more light. Besides being able to turn off one of the circuits and leave the other one lit. This dual system also allows both circuits to be regulated in a way that makes possible for the customer to personalize the amount of light he or she desires in the room.
You have mentioned before the connection between the technical side and the design side. What are the challenges when matching these 2 elements together?
Well, it's important that you mention that because I feel these are the main challenges when you are designing pieces that have to look natural. Since our design style follows the representation of nature, we really have to pay attention to all the elements in the chandelier. For instance, it is much easier to produce thicker leaves, but then the leaves will look unnatural. It is easier to make bigger cups to fit all the LED inside, but then the shape will be unproportioned. Everything must be balanced. In the end, the technical aspect cannot compromise the design. But if the design does not integrate the technical part of the pieces, the chandeliers will not work properly.
Serip is a brand that has its DNA from nature. All the collections are representative of natural elements. Today, we can witness the degradation of the environment. Every day we are confronted with the news that tell us our planet is on a dangerous path. How do you feel that Serip looks at the environment degradation?
The elements that underline every single Serip model are nature and the organic. We have always tried to work upon these inspirations, and one of our ever-present concerns is that our pieces are mainly constituted of recycled and recyclable materials, such as glass and our bronze alloy. The respect for nature is deeply rooted in Serip's history. It's part of our identity. As such, Serip considers itself responsible for showing the world all the beauty of nature, seeking to create awareness and urgency regarding the protection of the environment and all forms of life. We want to inspire others toward the protection of nature, an essence that is transversal to all of Serip's collection.
It was a pleasure having you here with us today, Miguel, leading us through the creative process that brought this wonderful collection to life. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.